Oh yes, it is finally that time. Geeks, nerds, gamers, and trolls. I've been waiting so long to say this one. This is your MMOBomb.com first look at New World, baby. I am the Noobfridge. I will be your tour guide as we take a first look at this newly launched AAA MMORPG from Amazon Game Studios, available via download on Steam. Now, you should know going in, this game will absolutely make time disappear. It is a time sink. You will need to put in lots of effort if you want the maximum results from this game. You can play casually. You can jump in and just do some things here and there. But the game is really geared more to somebody who likes doing a bit of a grind as far as gathering and crafting, going out, killing mobs, doing quests, doing PvP missions. This game has a lot to offer, and it's going to take a lot of time to get the best, the top, the end game. If you can't already tell, I've been super excited for this game for quite a while. I am very happy that it's finally here. I am enjoying my time in New World immensely. So let me show you a little bit about what I'm doing, why I like it so much, and why this may or may not be the game for you. New World is a buy-to-play game. There is no monthly subscription. There is a cash shop, and there was some concern coming from one of the alphas and the betas about some pay-to-win items. I'm happy to report, at least right now at launch, there is zero of anything that could even remotely be considered pay-to-win. It is 100% cosmetic in the cash shop as of the time of this recording, October 4th, just shy of a week from launch. So as of right now, cosmetics only, and I'm talking like literally just armor skins, weapon skins, some emblems for your guild, some dyes, and that's about it. If anything, I thought maybe the cash shop is a little bare for launch. There's not really any skins in there. There's not a lot. There's 6 or 8 outfits in there. Nothing really intriguing to me that I wanted to buy right off the bat, which is okay, because I mean, I did pay money for this game. I wouldn't mind getting a couple of months out of it without seeing something that I just have to have now. But the good news is, if it's something that I see that I want, it's just because I want it. It's not because I need it. So let me tell you a little bit about New World. This is a territory control and defense MMO. It's got a heavy emphasis on optional open world PvP and gathering and crafting. But it does have some typical MMO features that you are probably looking for if you want to look into jumping into a new MMO. There is a balance between sandbox and theme park here. It's not a pure sandbox, as in you can go out and just do whatever you want anytime and create whatever you want out in the world. You can choose during a playtime, I'm going to go do gathering this time. I'm going to go do crafting this time. I'm going to go do PvP. I'm going to go do PvE things. There, you do have options as far as your gameplay, but you're not just going to craft a new settlement out in the world. You're going to use those things to take over territories from other enemy factions, defend your territories that your faction owns from those enemy factions, and help build up defenses and your crafting, improving that along the way. You will begin the game in one of the starter zones, which are all fairly similar to each other. It's the same biome. They all offer pretty much the same experience, the same quests, leading quests, and those range from level 1 to 25. That's right. At level 1, you could take a wrong turn and run into a pack of 25 mobs. You got to be careful. You got to watch out where you're going, what's out there. It could be dangerous for you as you're leveling, especially when you're first coming into a zone. So you're going to want to get up to level 25 in that zone 26. You don't have to just run away at level 25. There's still stuff to do, elite zones, corruption portals, things like that are level 25 appropriate. Level 26, 27, even then are still a bit of a challenge. Then you can move on to a higher level zone that's going to be like level 26 to level 35. And it's going to be the same thing. You're going to walk in as a level 26, but you got to watch what you're doing, because at any moment you could turn the wrong way and there's a level 35 mob just looking you in your eyes, going to eat you for lunch. Now, it doesn't matter what you're doing to level up. You can level up strictly through PvE, strictly through PvP. You can even just gather and craft if you want to. It doesn't earn as much XP, but you can level up like that. But no matter how you choose to do your leveling, you're going to be gaining territory experience as you go along. And every time that you level up with your territory reputation in the territory you're in, you're going to get to choose from some randomly drawn perks. You'll get 3 or 4 perks that you can choose from. Things like increased storage in the main town of that territory, better XP from killing mobs, better gathering speed, cheaper taxes. There are several different perks you can choose from. As you're leveling up, you're going to gain access to those perks. Choose wisely. There are some noob traps in those, but it lets you pick, hey, this is like my first zone. I just want to concentrate on leveling and doing some gathering this time. You can choose perks along that route. And then later on, in a higher level territory, you can say, okay, this is where I'm going to really start crafting and putting stuff on the trade market. You can start picking perks that decrease your crafting costs, decrease the taxes that you pay on the trading post. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing on the PvE, player versus environment side of things first. First thing you're going to have is a main story quest that's going to sort of lead you through the world. There is story, there is lore. Now, nobody's going to accuse this game of being a big story-based MMO, but there is some story if you follow along with the quests. Very little voice acting. Most of it's going to be reading the lore, reading pages you pick up, and then following that main story quest. NPCs in each town and throughout the territories also can offer side quests that you can just pick up along the way and fulfill and then turn back into that particular NPC. And then the big bulk of what you're going to be doing is the town mission board quests and the faction mission board quests. The town mission board quests change every 30 minutes as of right now. They've changed that a few times during beta and such, but for right now, they refresh every 30 minutes. And they're going to give you PvE quests like go gather things at this location, or turn in these items, or go kill 15 rabbits, or go explore this area and find lost trinkets inside the ruins. There's different quests that it offers up, and that helps increase your reputation within the territory, but can also help your faction build like new crafting kiosks, upgrade crafting areas, like make a better lumber mill, make a better smelter, the next tier up. That way you can create bigger and better things and make even more money going forward. You might as well get ready for it too. You're going to be chopping trees, gathering herbs, mining ore, skinning animals, fishing, all sorts of different things to do in the gathering professions. You can do them all. You just have to equip gathering tools. You can craft your own gathering tools or buy them on the trading post from other players. Crafting tools as they upgrade, get better, get faster, give you more resources, give you more of the rare resources while you're just doing the normal things that you would be doing, gathering. Also, they can come with perks that give you like extra Azoth, which is the currency that you're going to use to fast travel, as well as kick up some of your crafting recipes and make them a little better. So yeah, while you're out there doing your PvE stuff, you're still contributing to the territory of your faction as a whole. If you're questing in an area that your faction controls, you're still helping defend the fort by contributing materials to increase the defenses of that fort. You're helping to create better crafting opportunities to bring other players in, to increase the income you get from taxes. Your faction is getting taxes in each territory that they can set and control, high, low, medium. It's up to the governor of that territory to set the taxes, but that brings in money that helps defend the territory from other factions trying to invade as well. But that's not all you have to do PvE-wise. The PvPers are out in the world fighting to protect the territory. You, PvE player, can also go out in the open world and fight to protect the territory. Out in the world as a PvE player, you and a group of friends or a group of randos you run into up at a portal, as you'll see here in a minute, can take on corruption breaches. So out in the world, these things spawn sort of like rifts or dolmens from ESO, and you go in and they're usually elites, max level of that territory. So if you're in a beginner territory, they're going to be level 25 elites. If you're in the next territory up, they're going to be level 35 elites. So they are going to be difficult. They are going to be group content. So you got to go in, kill waves of enemies for the portal here. And then you shut down the portal. There are other ones that have like tendrils that you have to fight that smack you around, or another central, like a obelisk in the middle that you have to take out. So there's a few different ones. There are also minor and major ones. There are smaller ones that a group of 5 can maybe take out, or maybe even a group of 2 or 3 if you're proper level. Then there's the big dogs that are going to require a group of at least 5, and usually you'll see like a faction Zerg running through trying to help take those out, because there is a downside if you do not go out in the world and protect your territory from these corruption breaches. If territories get overrun from corruption breaches, you're going to go into what's called an invasion. Unfortunately, you have to be level 50 to participate in invasions. So we have no footage of that, as my max level currently is 33. So hopefully I'll be able to jump in those later. But basically it's kind of like the war in PvP. You're going to go into a time scheduled event and waves of enemies are going to attack, and you have to fend those off to protect your territory. A PvE way to protect your territory by fighting. And then we come to what is actually the newest addition in the life cycle of this game, and that's the PvE dungeons. 5-man content, and as you would expect in most MMOs, the Holy Trinity: tank, healer, and DPS. There are several abilities across a few different weapons that can be turned into taunts. All you have to do is equip the proper gem to your weapons, and then those abilities within those trees of those weapons become taunts. I like rocking the traditional sword and board, as well as the big warhammer for big AoE and CC, which also has a taunt on it. Now, quick note, this footage you're watching, I did have to go back and re-record. I had some footage not turn out quite right. You may have seen it on an earlier release of this video, so I had to reshoot this. As you can tell, we are vastly overpowered. This is like a level 25 dungeon, and I hit 40 somewhere in here, and I think everybody I'm running with is like low to mid 30s. So yeah, everybody's pretty much ignoring mechanics. DPS are pulling. We're very overpowered for this, but I wanted the footage of the first dungeon so you can kind of see what you're going to get into in the beginning. So yeah, if you're coming in level appropriate, it's going to be a little tougher, but don't make the mistake of thinking this is a super hard dungeon. This is the first dungeon in the game. You're pretty much supposed to just kind of learn your role within a group atmosphere. If you want to use a particular weapon, just find one, buy one, craft one, equip it, start using it. You're going to start earning weapon XP as well as your character's level XP. Every time you get a level up in your weapon XP, you're going to get a point to spend in that weapon skill tree. They're going to have different options in that skill tree that can even further kind of tweak the way that weapon plays. For my sword and board, for instance, I can go a little more DPS-y route with more critical hits and do a little more damage, or I can go more defense with my shield bashes and taunts. Armor, of course, also plays a big role in your play style. I'm a tank wearing a lot of heavy gear. It makes my dodges pretty short, but it gives me a lot of armor and a lot more CC duration. A medium armor, more bruisery DPS will want a little less survivability, a little less armor with a little more DPS. And a light armored character is going to get the full DPS bonus, but lose a lot of protections. So it's up to you. You can wear any of those at any point. So however you want to play is what you wear. So your playstyle is pretty heavily influenced by what you want to do. Now, typically, you're only going to have 3 active abilities on each weapon, but there is a skill tree that has lots of passives on it that can give you passive bonuses or give you on-hit effects or do other things that really help tweak and make you play more the way you want to. So you're not going to have 24 buttons on your hotbar. You're not going to have a Path of Exile-sized skill tree to look at and figure out. But the simplicity of those systems are offset by the need to always be paying attention to what's going on around you. You have to react to the fight that's going on. You're not just doing a rotation. You're not just standing in a corner and tanking the boss. The mobs are going to move around. They're going to do heavy attacks. They're going to do AoE attacks. You're going to need to block some things. You're going to need to dodge out of things. You're going to have to break the blocks that the NPCs are doing. NPC attacks can stagger you and knock you around, and they'll do more damage to you. You really have to pay attention at all times to the fights that's going on around you and be reacting, not doing a rotation or standing in the corner face tanking a boss. So as we go into talking about PvP, what I wanted to have here was footage of a war, which is when a territory is brought into conflict by an enemy faction. They can declare war. There's a set time, 50v50. Everybody's going to sit down, fight it out, winner take all. Winner gets the territory at the end. Unfortunately, on my server, there's only been one war, and it was between the two other factions. I signed up for it. I was hoping to maybe get a slot, but hundreds of people sign up for these, so I didn't get in. So unfortunately, I do not have footage of a big 50v50 war that I wanted to have. My server is just not bumping like that. We're pretty dominated by Covenant right now, unfortunately. Marauders have been almost a non-factor at all, other than declaring that one war. They really haven't done a lot. So it's kind of been the Syndicate versus the Covenant, but the Covenant's winning like it's not even close at this point. But yeah, PvP is a big part of this game. It influences and affects everything and everybody. Even as a primarily PvE player, territories being taken over by enemy factions are not good for me because I lose bonuses that I had when my faction owned those territories. The enemies might raise taxes on us, so property taxes for owning a house goes up, crafting fees go up, using the trading post costs go up. It could be bad. It could really affect those of us who aren't even necessarily PvPing. So we do have a stake in getting flagged up and going and doing some PvP missions at least every once in a while, because it affects us whether we're going to take part or not. So you might as well jump in sometimes, at least in a big Zerg, and go help with some PvP missions. But you can go into enemy territory, pick up PvP missions there, increase your faction's influence in that enemy territory, and then eventually, if you get to a high enough level, you can declare war, and then you're going to have, at this time, the next day, you're going to sit down and have a 50v50 war, winner take all, winner gets the territory. You're going to have to defend the territories that your faction own by going out, flagging for PvP, and killing players from the other factions who are trying to complete their PvP quests inside of your territory. Anytime you kill one, they're going to lose the progress they've made on their PvP quests, and they're going to have to start over. In the meantime, you can be fulfilling PvP quests in your own territory to offset any influence that they may have gotten along the way. Or if you let them get out of control, they're going to declare war on you, and you're going to have to fight in a war to defend your territory. To me, the best thing about New World is that there are reasons to participate in all of these things, PvE and PvP, and they go beyond just getting the rewards for immediately doing that thing. Like I said, the PvP heavily influences my experience as a PvE player, because I might have to, at some point, if a territory that I'm heavily invested in gets taken over by the enemy and they raise taxes on me, I may have to pack up all my goods that I'm crafting and selling on the trading post and move to a territory that's more friendly to me, maybe controlled by my faction, but at least has lower taxes. So it could cause me to uproot and move everything, or just pay out the nose while that faction has control of that territory. So there's reasons to do everything. Everything has influence. PvE can influence territory defense and taking over and improving the defense of the territories. PvP can take over territories, defend territories, and influence what PvE players are doing based on who owns what territories. Look, to be honest, I could talk about New World all day long, but we've got to keep this video in the context of a first look. So we're going to kind of wrap it up here. I've tried to cover a lot of the things that I would normally cover in a first look, but also talk about some of the things because I have a lot more experience in this game than sometimes we get to have in first looks. I've played a lot of hours in the beta. I've played a lot of hours since launch. I've thoroughly been enjoying my time in this game, and a lot of other folks have as well. Yes, there's queue times. It's an MMO launch. Yes, there are some bugs here and there. They're not usually game-breaking on an individual basis. Maybe some folks have run into some game-breaking bugs, but overall, there's nothing that's affecting the community as a whole other than some smaller bugs and, of course, the queue times, which will hopefully sort themselves out going forward. So what is New World? It's an MMO with survival game roots. It straddles the line between sandbox and theme park, and it straddles the line between PvE and PvP. And for this gamer anyway, it does all of that perfectly. I love gathering, crafting, running dungeons. I love participating in PvP sometimes when I want to be able to just flag up for it and participate when I want to do something different. And what's going on with that does affect me, does influence what's going on with my gameplay, even if I'm not a big heavy PvPer. Faction chat is usually always buzzing with where the enemy's going, what the enemy's doing, grouping up to run groups together for PvP, looking for groups to go run corruptions to help protect the territories. There's always stuff going on within the faction. There's always reasons to group up and get out in the world and participate in things so that we don't just get overrun by our enemies, both player and NPC. I love New World. Hopefully you will too. But if not, that's okay too. The game's not going to be for everybody. Every game's not for everybody. But I enjoy it. This is New World, ladies and gentlemen, from Amazon Game Studios. Available for download on Steam. Buy to play. No monthly subscription. Thank you so much for watching this video. I tried to keep it short, but I failed miserably. I am the Noobfridge. Go to MMOBomb.com for all the latest online multiplayer gaming news and information that you need to know. For now, I consider this first look done, and I am going to go play some more New World.